Time's now to answer some legal questions. For that, we turn to our Fox 26 senior legal analyst, Tritico. Merry belated Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All right. So let's start with this question from Richard, who writes, I live at an apartment that has fiber, internet, and Wi-Fi installed in all the apartments. In my lease, it is charged in a community services bundle, along with other services like pest control and trash pickup. However, I do not use the internet or Wi-Fi because it's an additional $70. Can they legally charge me for this every month? If I renew my lease, can I have this charge removed, at least the portion for the internet and Wi-Fi?
Well, Richard, my answer is, I haven't seen your lease, but my answer is going to be no. What they do is they've got all of these services that they've bundled together into one charge for every tenant in the apartment complex. And they do that because they can save money for every tenant by doing it that way. They could probably get a better price overall for everybody. And so I'm going to tell you that they're probably not going to parse this out for people who say they don't want to use the internet that way. And because you don't want to pay the extra $70 to use it individually to get the hookup. So no, they're not going to do that. It's a part of a bundle, and they're going to say no. If you're going to live here, this bundle for trash and these other services that's the fee. And so they're not going to parse it out that way. That's going to be their answer. Read your lease, but pretty sure they're going to say no to that. So that's just the way it is. But good luck.
All right, good to know. Well, our next question is a doozy. This comes from Mark, who writes, after Hurricane Harvey, we hired a contractor to fix flood damage to our house. The contractor said he was also a church pastor who wanted to help the victims of the hurricane. We gave him $20,000 to start the repair. He failed to complete the job, and we sued him in justice court. While in the process of obtaining a default judgment, we met other victims. The total theft of all the victims was over $190,000. We took our case to the Harris County Prosecutor's Consumer Fraud Unit. He got deferred adjudication and was ordered to pay restitution. He paid the upfront payment and the first 4 months, but stopped paying even though he purchased 2 new cars and other items. We contacted the probation officer and advised of several probation violations, but we have not seen any action on their part. What do we need to do to get the probation revoked?
Mark, look, you're doing everything right. You've sued him, you got a judgment against him, and you found other victims, which is what's required under the law for them to go after a contractor, because that's what lets them prove that it's illegal and not just a civil problem. And so you've done everything right. You've even found evidence that he's violating his probation. The problem with a violation of probation when it's only a failure to pay restitution is the Constitution makes it a little bit hard to put people in prison for failure to pay their debts. And so if that's all it is, that's probably what the roadblock that they're running into here. You have one thing in your favor here. You have a judgment, a valid judgment for $10,000 that you can still go back to court, get a writ of execution on, and try to execute that judgment. If he's got 2 cars, you can get 1 car, okay? You're only entitled to 1 car and 1 truck, and there may be other things that you can get to try to execute and get your $10,000 back from him. And keep doing the things you're doing, keep talking to probation, and they may revoke it, but revoking it doesn't get you your money, which I think is what you're more interested in. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck to Mark on that one. And we've seen a lot of issues with health coverage lately, which brings us to our final question, which comes from Ashley, who writes, I own a small business and was offered health insurance until April of 2020. Due to the pandemic and not having funds to pay for it, I canceled my company's health plan with the provider. This last spring, an officer came to my house with a judgment for almost $10,000. He wanted cash or property to satisfy the judgment. I don't know how I owe when I canceled and have documentation to that effect. How do I fix this? And can I countersue? What kind of attorney would I even need for this?
Ashley, you did, excuse me. Ashley, you almost did everything right here. You canceled the policy, and first, thank you for offering health care for your employees. But you canceled the policy, and you tried to get it canceled right. The health care provider went ahead and billed you some more, and you were unaware because you moved out of your place where you were renting to your home, and apparently you didn't get the mail. I don't know, but they sued you. You didn't respond, and then they got a judgment against you and you didn't respond to that. All of those things require notice from the people who are suing you, and you didn't respond to any of that. And it takes a long time to perfect a judgment. And so they were sending you notice and you didn't respond to. You either got the notice and didn't respond, or you didn't know about it. But either way, it took a long time for them to get that judgment. Now you're in a bad way because they have a perfected judgment against you. You're going to have to hire the lawyer of your choice at this point to assist you to try to overturn that judgment and show that you had validly canceled that policy. And you can just get a civil lawyer, call the Houston Bar Association, they can work with you. It's only a $10,000 judgment, and so if you have, this is probably not something to file bankruptcy over in my view, unless you have other debts. And so you can also talk to a bankruptcy lawyer of your choice. Look at those two options, but try to work this out because you probably don't owe them that money. Good luck.
All right, thank you so much, Chris. Now, if you want to send us your legal questions, just hop on over on our website at fox26houston.com. You can find Chris's segments under the Morning News tab. And as always, for specific information and advice, contact an attorney of your choice.